Namaste viewers and welcome to Amazing Vedas I should say, because the Vedas and the Veda are the one and the same if you understand what we mean, because it's a living Veda and it is both plural and singular. And fundamentally, the Vedas define as well as defy all our preconceptions, frankly. But thank you, Dr. Singh, for joining us. And I wanted to just pick up on one of the lines in your poem where you said, you know, either hold your peace or sing.
Yes, yes. But I had a counter question for you, so I'm going to come to that. But yeah, so as the ancient, old saying was, speech is silver and laughter and silence is golden. But then laughter is platinum. So
That's your addition. That's why you had the laughing Buddha, you see.
yes, we got to have the laughing Buddha. So our, rishis, if you read them, there's such a rasa, such a joy, whether it's joy of poetry, joy of sound, the music. I mean, there's so much to learn. And of course, the joy of self discovery, joy of not taking anything for granted, but breaking through rocks, breaking through, smashing through the
Adri, the
darkest,
Adri,
the
Adri.
adri. And so I think that's what we have learned from the Veda, either be quiet. And so usually, nowadays, a lot of meditation is be quiet, be quiet. But meditation can be very dynamic. And that's what in the Veda we see that it's very powerful, dynamic, and it's singing as you go along, sing and laugh, and that also is meditation. So, but let me preemptively strike you here, a la George W. Bush. So yesterday was August 15th, and you went to the ashram and in Delhi and Sri Aurobindo Ashram, and I think you talked about music. So let's talk about music because you are the one who talked about music more than even I did. So how was it? We would love to hear it from you.
Thank you
What did you
so much.
talk about?
Thank you. You see, I mean, I also said, quoting Sri Aurobindo and the mother, somebody asked Sri Aurobindo that when the mother plays the organ, how are we supposed to respond? So he says, in complete silence. So there is a music which helps you go up, you know, from where you are, from the mundane to the supramundane. But there is also music which comes down from above. So mother's unpremeditated experiments with organ music were a way to bring down that peace and joy. So I started with that note of peace and joy. But fundamentally, my talk was today, which is 16th in India, but 15th over there in our great, Hernando County in South Central Florida, beautiful place, Spring Hill, which is also Sing Hill. And that's why we sing with joy. And I miss it very much, I might tell you. And I miss your presence also in the Delhi ashram because that's where we first connected in the 90s, early 90s. And Dr. Bajlani, who was also in the All India Institute, he mentioned all of that I have been connected with the ashram for 36, 37 years. And it was wonderful to be there in the meditation hall, to be invited to give this talk with Tara Didi sitting in the front. She's 90 years old. She turned 90 on the 5th of July. And, she knew the mother for 50 years and she's been in the Delhi ashram for 50 years. So it's her 50th anniversary in the Delhi ashram, right? When she left
Yes.
Pondicherry, she came here and it's Chachaji's birthday. The founder, Surendranath Johar, his birthday was the 13th of August. So and Sri Aurobindo's birthday, of course, India's Independence Day, and Vande Mataram's 150th. So there was a wonderful program in which they had invited me to be the chief guest, which was uh, a national integration camp, Dr. Singh. So it ran for a week, and it had teachers from the Sri Aurobindo schools from all over India. And they were taught these songs, you see, in different Indian languages, in 10 Indian languages. North, south, east, west. They covered Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, Punjabi, Bengali, Odia, Sanskrit, Marathi, Gujarati, Telugu, etc. So I heard these songs. I was so moved. I can't tell you that, the spirit of patriotism or the love for India expressed in so many languages by these teachers who all learned these songs and they were rendered musically. And in the end, we handed out certificates. And of course, the program culminated with a recitation of Vande Mataram, which has now been recognized as our national song and sung in the full. So, and in between, they asked me to give a talk. And I had asked Dr. Bijlani, what topic do you suggest? Because, as you know, Sri Aurobindo is an ocean, right? And we try to grasp the ocean with a thimble. and, and the thimble has so many little, should I say, gaps so that even the little water we catch in a thimble is trickling out. So he said, why don't you speak on the music of life in the light of Sri Aurobindo? See? And it was a wonderful occasion because as we have been talking about the Veda, what did I do? I went back to the Veda, obviously. So, with your permission, I want to read a passage which I also read to them. And we have obviously, discussed some of these matters here in our own, conversations. But I still want to sort of go back to this passage, if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
And it is from The Secret of the Veda, this book that we really admire, adore. So I'm quoting Sri Aurobindo, and he says that sometimes it is the finding of Surya, sometimes the finding or conquest of Swara, the world of Surya. Sayana, indeed, takes the word Swara as a synonym of Surya. But it is perfectly clear from several passages that Swara is the name of a world or supreme heaven above the ordinary heaven and earth. So, this was so wonderful for me that Surya and Swara, though they are different in certain hymns or riks of the Veda, they're also sometimes considered identical. The world of Surya, which today also see Surya, Saur Urja. We have the same words used even today. That Saur Urja or solar energy is actually the energy of Swara. And then, like we play, I did some Nirukta. I said, wow, look at this word, you know, Swarga. Because, the whole point is everyone wants to go to heaven. So I told them that I'm going to give you the gist of my talk because good teachers also give you a little capsule. They don't just ramble on and on. So I said, you are all learning music and Nadopasana, that is the Upasana of Nada Brahman, is the easiest way to reach heaven, Svarga, because Ga means to go. It is a suffix which means to go. That is how you get Khaga, that is going across the sky. Who goes across the sky? The bird, but also, of course, the sun. And that's how you get the Kharg Island, from the old Avestan. Anyhow, so I said similarly, Svarga means that going towards that swara will lead you to heaven, Svarga. So everybody, sare chauk gaye. And then in the end, I said, I'll give you another twist, okay? Because let's understand what swara is. Because ra is another suffix which we all discussed here. It means to shine. Rajat, ra, bha, ra, ta. That ra means rajas, to shine, to illuminate. That's how you get swaraj, that's how you get swarat. So swa, ra means you're shining with your own light. You see, and that is the world of swara to which we aspire, and that is also, the world of music to which we want to go, because music is the easiest way, to. I told them, look, let's do an experiment. Two people disagree, they're arguing, you know, till kingdom come. But you just pause them and you play a music. I just told them, you play anything. You can play, of course, mother's organ music, but you play Bach, or you play Mallikarjun Mansur, you play Kishori Amonkar, okay, you play whatever you like, and you'll see how they get harmonized. Because, like a tuning fork, you begin to vibrate at the same frequency. And then I said to them, there's a vibration in everything. You know, our frequencies may change, but even the stone vibrates, even the wood vibrates, even the metal vibrates. And then I did another little experiment. I had some riks of the Veda, you know, chanted in the Shiksha method, Shiksha Paddhati, the Udatta, Anudatta, and the Swarat, those three. And then I had them listen to something chanted in the Samana, the Samaveda tradition, where all seven notes, it is so melodious, so sonorous. And I said, look how beautiful our musical traditions are. You see, they come from the Veda themselves. And then I talked about the music of the spheres. There's earthly music and the music of spheres, which Plato called musica universalis. You know, and Pythagoras said, because it's all geometric, it's all about these rhythms which are beyond the mental, uh, you know, capacities of man, because it is unheard melodies, and unheard melodies come from the Anahat. And finally, I also brought in Tyagaraja, what a great composer, where he says, Nabhi, Rit, Kantha, Rasana, Nasadi. So you worship. He says, it's very funny, because first we think that we are worshipping the divine through music, but he's saying music itself is the divine, because music is Shabda Brahman. What else is it? You see, so I was saying that Tyagaraja, composing in the darkest age, Marathas defeated in, Battle of Panipat, 1760, Clive defeating Sirajuddaula, India about to get conquered, beaten up from all sides, left and right, literally beaten up on the west side by Ahmad Shah Abdali, beaten on the east side by the British, and deep in the south, on the banks of the Kaveri, you have this genius, and he's saying exactly what the Veda is saying. And actually, in the Anupallavi, he's saying that the all the four Vedas, he's actually saying it, all the four Vedas, right? Sama Veda, Atharva, and Yajur Veda, they're all contained in these seven notes. The seven notes, Saptaswara, will give you all the Vedas, you see. And so it was a very beautiful, I think, morning, a very joyous occasion. But because we share that association with the ashram, I wanted to just tell you that I said it openly. I said, Tara Didi, I mean, today we are so grateful to you. We are grateful to Chacha Ji that in the heart of Delhi, you have given this city, which is the capital of India, this beautiful oasis where higher consciousness can sprout. Prafullit ho sakta. I said prajwalit. I used jyoti because, I was using jyoti throughout as a metaphor. Gau, after all, I said Gana is also Gau only.
Yes.
And so I said I wanted to express, what I'm trying to say is that look at the good that this ashram has done. They're running schools, they're running vocational training for underprivileged children. We saw these tribal children, so-called tribal children from Kechla, in Odisha, so underprivileged, Uh, I mean, many days they used to only eat rice, they mix it with water and salt. They had no food also. Such children are being raised and given all the facilities by the ashram's Kechla branch. So I just felt, and everyone sits together in the dining room, eats. There's no hierarchy. Tara Didi eats the same food that everybody else eats, and very nourishing food. And today, because it was a special day, they were serving ice cream, so everybody was taking two to three helpings. and little Malini was also there, and eating, rice and dal and potato sabji with her hand. So it was a wonderful, and Gayatri ji was there also. It was a wonderful occasion, I felt. And I just wanted to share it with you and our viewers because, in the end, we're grateful to Shorabanda and the mother who have opened up all of this for us, I feel. I don't know what you think. Over to you.
Yeah, I mean, remember, not only do we owe Sri Aurobindo, as PM Modi also said, the very idea of Swaraj, which was originally, if you remember, was Swami Dayananda, and then Bankima from the Swami Dayanand more on our side, which was the Punjab, what is New Delhi, the northern India, and then Bengal Renaissance, Bankim Chandra, and then of course it picked up. But Swaraj, Purna Swaraj, was a concept that came from Sri Aurobindo. And again, I heard whenever you say Swara, because we are in this, we are talking about Swaraj, Purna Swaraj for India, which I think we have received the political Swaraj, but we still need Mano Swaraj. We need Swaraj of the heart. Get rid of all our baggage, all kind of restriction, narrowness, sankirnata, right? Because Varuna has to come. Varana, that which widens and expands. And so I think we need to bring all that in our understanding with Swara. Swara has no religion. Swara has no limitation. It floats freely. It doesn't have a narrowness because it is Swayam Rajate iti Swaraha. That which shines by itself is Swaraha. And that comes from the self. Eventually, it is our self, the true Su. The root is Su, from which comes the Surya, from which comes the Soma, from which comes the self. And see how beautifully they come together, the light, the bliss, and then your own sense of being, consciousness, and then, of course, the music. So it's a these notes carry, and we had this beautiful approach of converting the swaras into music. So swara is the unit of sound and the unit of our language, and that is the genius of Sanskrit. So let me stop there, otherwise I get all carried away. But such a beautiful, I'm glad you went there, because the Delhi ashram has done so much for me personally. It was my haunt. Anytime I would couldn't take the medical school or the world, I would go to the ashram and just be there and complain and whine and moan.
And on one
And
of
I,
those occasions, you listen to one of my talks in the Sunday satsang, and then you send me some of your poems.
yes, I sent you my first book of poems, which was maybe a couple of lines were okay. But yeah, I mean, it's the ashram has done a lot, and I think the mother said that it will accomplish, do my work a lot. In fact, I think some of the ashramites have said that it does even more dynamic work than the Pondicherry ashram, which is difficult for me to
No, no,
accept.
we
But
need not compare. We don't want to
yeah,
offend anybody.
but
But
I'm just saying
I,
how valuable.
I just want to second what you said for a moment, which is it helps to form
Yes,
deep soul connections between, very, very, should I say, disparate, not desperate, but very, unlikely people are brought together in an environment like that. And you see, it also throws in people of very different classes because, as I said, some of the vocational trainees and others are from a very ordinary class whom you
yes,
never meet normally. But I'm saying, and yet very deep connections are formed which sprout who knows when. That's what I was trying to say.
it's amazing work. I mean, the work that is done. Some of these children came from tribes that are Musahari. I hope you realize that.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
had nothing, not even a grain to eat, so they would eat rats. That's the Musahari. And these children, they don't know how to eat things we take for granted. No one has talked to them lovingly
Yes,
for
yes.
their life.
Yes,
To
yes.
them, that is a revelation. We take it for granted that everyone will treat you with respect, right? We take Everyone has to treat me with respect. These kids have not known respect. And if you similarly, when we do this work in Chandigarh and Panchakula, these kids who come, they have not had food. They do not know how to share food. The moment you put food in front of them, the first thing they do is shove it in their pockets. They don't even eat it. They shove it in their pockets. They don't know it's together. It took them 6 months to teach them how to share food, how even to talk to each other as a human being. We are talking about some very fundamental, basic things. Because remember, we talk about great things, which is important. But unless we bring the lowest 20% above, we will not have a transformation of the society. What has been called Antyodaya. But if we can bring that up, what a remarkable transformation it will be for the society, because these children are hungry, not just physically. They want to do things. They are filled up with fire, but they have no opportunity. And that opportunity places like this give. And so that I'm glad you went there and shared your light and wisdom, and hopefully that'll inspire more people who will come up. These little kids, they don't want much. They don't have ambition like our children. They want, what they want to do? They want to learn how to speak English. That's it. Parents want, just teach them how to speak English, because in their mind, being speaking English is culture, is success, is future. So, yeah, a lot to say, but let me stop here and thank you for going there and inspiring everyone. And let's
It
continue.
takes you down the memory lane. We talk
Yeah.
about, Vijay, the Dada also, Artho Dada, because when I first went to the ashram many years ago, in the 90s, he was the principal, the founding principal of Mirambika as well. And I remember that on the 15th August, they have a march past. So Dada was holding the flag, and he was the front runner, the agrani, as it were. And he was a young man, and of course he was my junior in college. So many memories also were. I also met some teachers who had taught my older daughter, so it was anyhow a wonderful experience. But when you talked about the so-called upliftment of the deprived sections, it takes us again back to the Vedas, because Sangachatvam, which we mentioned in our last episode, it brings that up. So, with those words, thank you, Dr. Singh. We carry on in our journey with the amazing Vedas, and we'll see you all soon. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and do join us in appreciating, enjoying, being uplifted by, enlightened by, call it what you will, the amazing Vedas. Thank you. Namaste.